YouTube says it has had enough of vaccine misinformation on its site.
And false stories from phony sites to run circles around major news outlets.
Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them.
Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Elon Musk has unveiled the newest logo for his artificial intelligence, Grok. And if you look very closely, it looks a lot like Saturn, doesn't it? It's amazing how many logos and how many times we see occult symbolism in front of us, especially from the people who are claiming to be the good guys, the ones who are fighting the deep state, the ones who are fighting Satan himself, right? That's the role that Trump is playing. That's the role that Elon Musk is playing by exposing the government and what they're actually doing with your tax money. But right in front of your faces, they expose themselves and they reveal who they are. The people don't realize that signs and symbols rule the world, not rules or laws. So Grok's new logo is clearly a symbol of what? Saturn. It's very easy to see. Is a coincidence that when Elon Musk bought, quote unquote, Twitter, or I should say was handed Twitter by the government themselves so that it could be a platform where they could hive mind all the Republicans and conservatives over and monitor them, where they've divided people, right? Via platform, YouTube, Democrats, Facebook, Democrats, Twitter and X, Rumble, Republicans, right? Makes it easier for the government to program their algorithms to study, watch the behavior, and know where to find people who are opposing government versus people who are on board with the government. So is it a coincidence that when he bought Twitter, he renamed it X? Well, of course not, because we all know that X is the symbol of the Antichrist, the symbol for the mark of the beast, the Osiris risen OTO, symbol that we see often in Freemasonry, often with every single celebrity you could possibly name, from Muhammad Ali to guys like Hugh Jackman. But of course, guys like Hugh Jackman get a pass because they're in a show called The X-Men, but nobody wonders what the term X-Men is even from and why these X-Men have superpowers, right? Look at all the people holding up the X symbol across their chest, including, of course, like I said, the Freemasons. It is probably the most common symbol for the mark of the beast and the Antichrist that we see out there that nobody ever notices, right? Madonna with the X on the eye patch, Machine Gun Kelly, all these celebrities posing on magazine covers just like they do with one hand over their eye. They fold their arms across their chest, making an X symbol. So Elon Musk renames this platform, which is going to be the collective consciousness according to his own mouth, or its own mouth. He renames it X, and now with his AI, he is giving the logo for Grok over to Saturn, right? And Saturn is the secret god of the occult. We see Saturn worship all around us, all the time. So while Donald Trump and Elon Musk are pretending to be your friends, while the alt-right media are pretending that they're exposing the deep state, they're really actually revealing themselves as worshipers of Satan. Satan, Saturnalia, Saturn Moon Matrix, the Black Cube. This is constant symbolism that is around us. The Star of David is another symbol that people don't seem to interpret correctly. The Star of Moloch, or Remphan, the Seal of Solomon, which is the star of Saturn. It represents Satan. And all the occultists out there know this. In Acts chapter 7, verse 43. Yeah, ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your god Remphan. figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. The cube that you see represents the magic square of Saturn. And just like the symbol X, it also represents Osiris. Saturn is a representation of Baal. You see black cube worship all around you, but you probably don't notice it. You even see some of these so-called rabbis wearing black cubes on their forehead. Ice Cube a few years ago even tweeted out a picture of the black cube and Osiris. But of course, people probably saw Ice Cube tweet out a cube and thought maybe it was an actual ice cube, because that's how low down the level of thinking and the thought process in our world has gotten. You might remember Sega Saturn. Even Ice Cube was one of the people used to market the Sega Saturn system. Look at all the logos that depict Saturn's rings from Nike, NASA. We see Bud Light. Those rings, DirecTV, Saturn itself, the car, Toyota, Boeing, Capital One, Whirlpool. This is all done by design. They weren't making the logo for the internet, for Internet Explorer, and decided they wanted to put a ring of Saturn around an E because of the word Explorer. You even see it, of course, in Donald Trump's Space Force. And the celebrities don't hide their obsession with Saturn either. Adele, maybe the funniest things that's actually out there for people to see that should wake them up. Adele, on her 33rd birthday, celebrated by showing everyone her new tattoo that she got on her 33rd birthday. And what was it? Well, it was a tattoo of Saturn. And the obsession with Saturn goes so far for Adele that Adele even performs wearing rings that have Saturn on there. Emma Watson, on her 33rd birthday, spoke about Saturn, tweeted out about Saturn and how Saturn's return was near. And these celebrities get away with talking about Saturn and the return of Saturn because they've trained the masses to get into things like astrology. These are gateways into the occult. They've trained them so that when they're out in the open talking about Saturn, that people think it has something to do with astrology and something to do with what sign they are. So that's how they get away with this stuff and being witches out in the open. And of course, Emma Watson and Adele on their 33rd birthday. What a coincidence, right? That number 33, that number that means so much to the occult, the highest level one could obtain in Freemasonry, a 33rd degree Freemason, right? Referencing, of course, the fallen angels in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verses 3 through 4. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it was born. You can even ask Google's own AI demon, and they'll even tell you flat out that it's believed that 1/3 of the angels fell from heaven with Lucifer. That number is symbolic to them for that reason, as well as it's believed that at the age of 33, that is when Jesus Christ was crucified. Beyonce, obsessed with the planet Saturn, right? Beyonce's got the earrings, right? Beyonce wears the hat. Often you'll see these weird hats that they wear, or, flat out just wearing it on their head like Lady Gaga, that people turn the TV on and see Lady Gaga on. And they're like, hey, that reminds me of like one of those desk globes you get. What, did she put her head through it? And she decided to go on national television wearing that? I mean, people just give these people a free pass because they think that they're creative and artistic when they talk about these things. These are witches and Satanists. This is the occult operating right in front of you. And that's what Elon Musk is a part of. And he shows it. X and Saturn. Michael Jackson, Saturn's ring, a very famous photo of him. There's even articles out there from Ariana Grande to SZA. Why are they all singing about Saturn's return, right? I guess in science class in 7th grade, when they ask what your favorite planet is, I guess they just all decided to like Saturn because it had a ring around it. That's why they all just get it tattooed on them. They sing about it. That's why No Doubt has an album called The Return of Saturn. right? That must be a huge coincidence too. And the fact that Gwen Stefani is still somehow famous and nobody even knows why. We're still seeing Gwen Stefani rolled out of a coffin and put on national television every single week. We also have Katy Perry performing, right? Katy Perry sitting on Saturn on a stage, and everyone just says, wow, Katy Perry's just really artistic, right? Even has Saturn tattooed right on its wrist, right? And who can forget Miley Cyrus, who constantly shows us its obsession with things like pizza and Satan, even once promoting those Lil Nas X Satan shoes that had human blood inside of them. But here's Miley Cyrus showing you some of its tattoos, right? And just randomly, along with another sigil above it, he just happens to have the planet Saturn and nobody asks why, right? Even Taylor Swift has a moon and Saturn tattoo, right? Nobody asks why Taylor Swift has a Saturn tattoo. They just think that Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, some of those famous musicians in America all just seem to be obsessed with this planet. Ariana Grande, Adele, right? And then, of course, what happens from there? Well, this is the purpose the false idols serve, right? They see Taylor Swift has a tattoo of Saturn, so hundreds of Taylor Swift fans in Australia and other countries get tattoos in honor of Taylor Swift. So they don't even realize that they're bloodletting themselves by putting satanic imagery, printing it, putting it permanently on their body, inking it onto their body, bloodletting it onto their body, not even knowing why, just in such a psychosis that they worship these false idols. And that's what the purpose of the false idols are. These false idols, look at these children who proudly hold up a tattoo, right? Why do you have the tattoo? Because Taylor Swift has it. Well, what does it mean? She one day wants to go to Saturn, kind of like Elon Musk wants to go to Mars, right? These people are clueless under such a spell that they can't even see it nor break free from it. And again, that's part of this narcissistic society that we live in, right? Most people refuse to see what they actually are. These people refuse to see that they're narcissists. They refuse to believe that they're idol worshiping. Look at MAGA. They refuse to believe that they're actually idol worshiping Trump, that they're going against the Bible with their obsession with Trump and Musk. While those same people right in front of you tell you, oh, you're a Christian, but I'm not a Christian, from Donald Trump's own mouth. And Elon Musk constantly showing you the X symbol for the Antichrist, Osiris symbolism, mark of the beast, Saturn symbolism. What else is Elon trying to do? Oh, right. He's telling you the phone's going to be obsolete, and sooner or later, everybody's going to have a brain-computer interface embedded in them, kind of like the thing he's trying to create now, the Neuralink, which if you ask people out there, they don't even know that that even exists. And he's conditioning you into accepting that type of technology in your body by telling you that this technology will make you feel better, live longer, you won't have anxiety, will cure people from Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. These people are completely oblivious. Let's continue. Other celebrities, Kesha, right? Just randomly a Saturn on the palm of its hands. There's tons of celebrities I've never heard of. Maggie Lindemann. I mean, who? No idea, right? These are celebrities that are just posing, that all randomly have Saturn tattooed on their fingers. They even have a Saturn award show. That's right, Saturn Awards, right? We heard of the Oscars, and we know, of course, PTA. I've covered that in the past, what the Oscar actually depicts. That's available on the website for anybody out there. But we have Saturn Awards, right? And of course, you can see some of the people who have received their Saturn Awards, all people who have done their part in our society, conditioning people into accepting, of course, this beast system. People like Steven Spielberg, right? Who's brainwashed people into thinking that there's UFOs and aliens and Schindler's List, which I won't go into, right? James Cameron, what's he done? Well, he's convinced you of a fake story about the Titanic, of course, never mentioning J.P. Morgan, or the real reason the Titanic sunk, and it wasn't even the real ship, because, of course, that had everything to do with the creation of the Federal Reserve. And, of course, James Cameron, known for the Terminator movies, right? Everything that's unfolding right in front of your eyes. Then you get, I think his name's Stan Lane, or Stan Lee, worshipped among the geek cults in America or around the earth, right? These people obsessed with these awful, awful superhero movies. Don't even realize they're being conditioned with all these things about superpowers and finding your superpowers, all magic being normalized in front of us. And eventually, right, finding your own superpower, becoming your own superhero. And that has everything to do, of course, with becoming transhuman and having this technology inside of your body. So Elon Musk, right out in front of everybody, tweets this out. He tweets out an image of Saturn, saying it's the new logo for Grok. The same guy who took over Twitter. Remember Twitter? Right? Does anyone remember Twitter? Because they forgot it was called Twitter. I didn't. Twitter with the little blue bird, and renamed it X. And nobody said, why is it called X? Why do these celebrities always put their hands over their chest and make an X? What's with the obsession with an X? Why is Madonna wearing an X on an eye patch? Just doing one eye symbolism with an X right on the eye patch, right? They don't see what's unfolding right in front of them. It's a small amount of people with eyes to see and ears to hear. It's very easy to get sucked into the psychosis if you allow yourself to, because you see the horrors in the world around you and you want to believe that people like Elon Musk are going to give you your freedoms back. But really what should have occurred is the people should have taken their freedoms back. And God tells you not to put your faith in man, but to put your faith in God. And what we're seeing is deliberate sabotage, a world that's gone mad by design. And all of these people, instead of a revolution actually occurring, have put their faith and their hope in men. Men who are revealing themselves right in front of you. Antichrist symbolism, mark of the beast symbolism, right in front of our faces with Saturn worship, and they still don't see it. What a time to be alive. And boy, the people out there that think that this is a conspiracy, that think, no, because he's going to audit the IRS. He's not one of them. You're wrong about the X symbolism, right? This is basic esoteric occult symbology, the X and Saturn. This isn't like, going into deep detail about some sigil that nobody's ever seen before, right? If you look up all these sigils that the Wiccans and the Satanists use in their rituals, most people have never seen them before. They'd say, whoa, what is that? Cross with like 7 points, or some of the symbols I've shown you, like the heptagons, the stuff that Crowley uses, right? Another thing, people will be like, I don't see that in my day-to-day life. This is basic symbology, Saturn worship, cube worship. This is basic stuff that everybody out there who even thinks they're slightly awake should understand. So that means the MAGA people out there, who clearly are just dead asleep just as much as the Democrat people out there, but they claim they're awake, they should understand the symbolism that they're seeing in front of them, especially those who claim to be Christian. That's why I've always said, there's many ways to lead people to God, right? There's people who every Sunday get up in a pulpit and they read the Bible to people, and that works for people. There's people that listen to sermons online. There's people that might come to your door and say, hey, have you heard the good news, right? That might work on people, and that's all fine and dandy, because at the end of the day, your salvation is through faith in Christ alone. But there's other ways to lead people to God. There's other ways to get people to pick up a Bible other than shoving it in their face, showing them the opposite, saying, look at all this bad stuff. Look at all these people and this symbolism. What do you think? It's all random? All these celebrities putting an X on their chest? And this gets people to go, yeah, there's something to this. And there's people out there that go, yeah, they're all Satanists. Well, if they're Satanists, doesn't that mean that God actually exists if they worship Satan? No? Then if there's only Satan and there's no God, is that what you're saying? Doesn't make sense. And that's why I've constantly said, well, it's not your faith in Christ is your salvation. So it's not essential to know these things. I've always said that. I've never sat here and said every Christian needs to listen to this channel and know exactly what I'm saying. But this is how you prevent Christians from being deceived, right? How many verses in the Bible talk about, how about specifically, my people perish from a lack of knowledge, right? How many Christians fall into these deceptions and believing in these men, these ear ticklers who tell them, I'm a Christian, I'm not a Christian, you're a Christian, I'm not a, they could say these things right in front of them, but the spell casting is so strong they can't hear it, right? That's why I continue to do this, is so that people out there don't get deceived, because I don't want to see good people get deceived. I don't want to see Christians specifically get deceived, and they are being deceived, and these people are revealing themselves right in front of our eyes. We got Grok, we got Saturn. What a surprise, right? Like I've said before, I wouldn't be surprised when the mark of the beast is revealed, even though many of you think that it was the experiment that was done with the magic potion, which of course, it's very hard for anybody out there who believes that to even have a conversation with them, because it specifically says you won't be able to buy or sell without it. And I continue to buy or sell, and I never got it, and the majority of people listening to my channel never did either. So that would kind of conflict that, but we know that eventually there's going to be a mark in order to use the internet, in order to be able to buy and sell, because everything's only going to be sold online. So everything's going out of business, right? So I wouldn't be surprised when the mark of the beast is really revealed and they go, hey, come on down, get your Neuralink or whatever, is embedded in our body. Come on down, the mark of the beast by Apple. And these people still don't see it. I mean, I really, truly believe that at this point, because some of these signs and symbols are so obvious. It's absolutely I don't know what word to even use. It's maddening that people don't see who these people really are, because they say it with the slip of the tongue and they show it with their symbolism and the agendas that they're trying to push forward, like AI governance on day one for Trump, or telling you he's got the cure for cancer coming, and you don't seem to grasp what he's actually telling you is coming. Pretty incredible. But Grok with Saturn, ladies and gentlemen. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.